Hey YouTube, and welcome to a Cooking with a Flair for the Bazaar thing. It's not specifically for that month, it's just, well, about a year ago I made a new recipe called watermelon peanuts, and I'm going to be making that again this year. And last year I said that for all the people I gave it to for Christmas, I would give, yeah, I would, whatchamacallit, I would put a video for them on here. That never happened. So this year, hopefully I'll make a better video, and then I'm actually going to upload this video so that you guys know how to make them. They're relatively easy to make. So you're probably wondering, what are watermelon peanuts? Well, watermelon peanuts are peanuts coated in watermelon flavored hard candy, and it's actually a really good combination, surprisingly, Well, not surprising. For me, if I think of a strange idea, I kind of automatically know I'm going to like it. But a lot of my friends liked it too. There was only one of my friends who said he didn't really like it, maybe if the peanuts weren't salted. So what you're going to need for this are, obviously, peanuts here. We have some Kirtland super extra large peanuts. Roasted and salted. Big peanuts are nice for this too. Then for making the hard candy, we got a whole load of sugar. There's water in the sink behind me. And this is honey. We're using it instead of corn syrup because it's healthier. Corn syrup is cheaper than honey though. Okay, I just got the regular clover honey, the cheapest honey they had at Winco in bulk. But corn syrup is cheaper than honey. And also honey kind of sort of affects the flavor of the whole thing a little bit. So if you want more watermelon-y flavor, go with corn syrup. However, with the flavoring that we're using, I haven't had any problems with that whatsoever. You could also do a compromise. If you want to be somewhat healthy but not go super expensive on this project, you could do like some honey, some corn syrup, and I believe I've just done straight over same amount, but online might be different. I haven't looked up honey candy recipes, I've just substituted straight across. So there's that, and then you also need, this is Loran oils, we'll focus, there we go, watermelon flavor. Loran oils are amazing. Here's the box they come in. Oh, I love these things. They're super concentrated. This 1 gram bottle of flavoring, which is about a teaspoon, I think, makes a candy recipe that uses 2 cups of sugar. Yeah, that's... And also they just taste amazing too. Like the watermelon one is, it's like not real watermelon oil, because watermelon doesn't have oil. It's just glycerin, propylene glycol, artificial flavor, alcohol, Red 3 and Red 40. So, yeah. But the others, like orange oil, is just pure orange oil, and peppermint oil is just pure peppermint oil. And I love the orange one. Because, like, if you go down your spice aisle and you grab your generic McCormick, I don't know, orange flavoring, it tastes like orange peel. It's nasty. But, no, the Loran orange flavor tastes like orange. So that's pretty much what you need. We're going to get started. There's some interesting things I've been learning too, because I kind of looked up about like honey versus corn syrup, see if anybody had any differences, but they didn't. I've got candy thermometer you'll need too. I'm also going to be testing out with a digital thermometer here. Now the thing I found online when I googled this is, I've had this for making candy before, but it's like, does the digital thermometer go high enough? Like a dial thermometer for meat won't probably go high enough, temperature-wise. But then also they said there's kind of sort of lag with digital thermometers like this, which makes sense. The only reason I thought about using this is because it will beep when it's at the right temperature, but with candy it's kind of a finite process, and if you don't want your temperature reading to be a few seconds late. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be setting this for a lower temperature than what we need, like, I don't know, 20 degrees or something. So then hopefully when I come back in and check on things, I can reduce the temperature on the stove, and it will not be burning, and this will give me an indicator of when to come back to it. Because it takes a while. I haven't made hard candy in like a year, but I think it takes at least an hour to get to hard crack stage for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and start getting things set up. I've got a friend coming over to help me make the peanuts, because this stuff cools fast, and if you heat it for too long, it burns. So we're going to go to that point. Oh, yeah, that was the other thing, too. I looked online about honey that I found recently, is people are saying that honey tends to burn, or like agave or honey and stuff tend to burn a little more than corn syrup. So that's something to keep in mind, interesting. Some point I will do a test between the two, but I know there are recipes out there for honey hard candy, honey candy. But I'm just using this in a regular hard candy recipe, swapping straight across. So we'll go to that point. I forgot to mention some things. You'll also want 4 rubber gloves just for you. 4 for each person. You want to wear 2 gloves each. That will help protect your hands against the hot sugar. It will still get a little bit hot. You have to be careful still. But that works for when you are just when you're going to be working with it and mixing it onto the peanuts, like so. And then I'm just going to pan up a bit. See that? There's my lighting tripod, one of them. I've got that there because I'm going to use string to suspend the candy thermometer just so it's touching the sugar, but not touching the bottom of the pan, because you don't want it to. So you can just leave it there without having to worry about, coming back and checking on it. You can just come in, take a peek. Oh, not hot enough yet. Let's come back in 10 more minutes. Yeah. And then also, if you don't have this, in the past, I've used a coat hanger bent just right to dangle the thermometer from some string, and like another pot or something to give it weight on the end that's resting on the counter. So let's go to that point. So I'm just following the hard candy recipe by Loran Oils, which you can find on their website. Something cool, they used to have it included on a little piece of paper inside the package, but now they don't, so they're going paperless. I love that. I love paperless. But yep, I am just stirring and mixing them together on medium heat. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit for a little bit, because we want it, once it's mixed, we want to get it to a boil without stirring. So we'll go like just 1 above medium on this induction stove. Now you can also use cane sugar if you want to. It's going to make it a little bit healthier. But I think with that, I've experienced that the candy is a little more chewy. Like, imagine a piece of hard candy that was just a little bit soft, so like you could crunch on it and your teeth would more sink into it and it would just get stuck and you have to pull it off your teeth. Yeah. So, I don't know. That will be something fun to test in a later video. The other thing, too, that I want to put online is how long it takes to get to hard crack stage, because there's no info on this whatsoever. So, I'm going to say that's relatively good and mixed. Now, something that we need to do is wash down any sugar crystals on the sides. So I've got warm water and a silicone brush. I'm just gotta remember zoomed in. Just dipping the brush inside of the warm water and running it along the sides of the pan. You want to dissolve any loose sugar crystals, otherwise it'll cause the thing to crystallize up and whatnot. There we go. That's good enough for now. I'm also going to go ahead and get my thermometer suspended. Okay, so I'm turning it down back to medium heat now. Whoops. Just gonna come here and give it just one last little stir. There we go, that's good enough. Let that go. Get my string. And I'm just using some black thread that we had Doesn't have to be super strong. You can use anything you want. Now, move it over the clasp of the thermometer. Now we're just going to get it so that the thermometer is just suspended in the sugar. So there it's touching. I want to pull it up just a little bit. I think that's good. I can also bring it down a bit if I need to by bringing the thermometer closer to the back. So that's going. And turn it down a bit too. Go to like 4 on our induction stove. I now have both thermometers suspended. The electric one is rising rapidly, which is good. Can I? Come on, focus. There we go, and we are, so right now, according to our special candy thermometer, we're reaching about 200 Fahrenheit. It starts to slow down quite a bit when you get up to the higher temperatures. But we're just above 200 Fahrenheit. And according to our digital thermometer, let's zoom back out again. It's behind by a bit. Let's see if I can get the probe to be more deeper into the mixture. There we go. Now it seems to be steadily rising. Oh. Yeah, it's jumping all over the place. It's up and down. So if all you have is this, sure, you can use it for your candy making, but nope, because we're already at 215. I don't know the marks in between. I don't have those memorized, but we're somewhere between 200 and 225, I'm guessing, because there's a big mark, and then the next numbered mark is 250. So yeah, this process does take quite a while, but it's going, and my friend will be here shortly. One nice thing about the candy thermometer is the nice little clip that it comes on can slide up and down the glass tube. So it's really easy just to get a decent length of string, and then you can make slide adjustments for the height to dangle it above your sugar without having to try and adjust the knot in your string and stuff, which is tricky. So we're going to get started with the, I turned it off just before 300, and it is now, it's just barely at 300, so we're good to go. We're going to start working with it and mixing it off into watermelon peanuts. I'm letting it cool just a bit before I add the flavoring. You can check my recipe. That's what stage we're at, guys. Okay, we're starting off with our peanuts now. You grab a spoon. Basically, it's just to put peanuts in, get them coated, pull them out, let them cool, and then separate them by hand. So I'm going to be passing some peanuts off to my friend, and just like this, the peanuts coated.
And then do you just put it on here? And
yeah, I just put it on there when the peanuts are kind of separated. We just want to get them covered, and then I like to pour some of the sugar off the sides. Okay, let's see, test the temperature here. Okay, yeah, this is cooling really fast, so here, go ahead, ow, hot. Okay, gotta be very careful. I need to wait, ow. This is, oh, come on. Anything right. It gets, there's gotta be something, because this gets very hot, especially with the gloves. You get this effect of the sugar heat slowly seeping through and rising, and I'm going to get, no, we don't want, here, I know what can help.
Yes. 275.
I'm going to grab an ice pack. Yeah, it's still hot, but this stuff cools. Like, you can see that this is already kind of sort of, so if you want to cool your hands down on the ice block, maybe that will work. Well, I'm trying to remember how I did this the year before. Oh yeah, that's right. I wasn't working with like, okay, that's how. That's right, that's how. So, you can take your hands off of the, let me get this sugar back in the mix. Take your hands off the ice block. So you just want to grab like 2 peanut halves out of that mix and then kind of mix them into a shape and quickly put them on the pan. And yeah. Yeah, it is hot. If you go quick, I'm going to just grab a little bowl right here. Zoom in the camera just a bit. So what I'm going to do is just
put them on the plate.
Yeah, put them on the bowl. And then there's one that's easy to see. And when you're doing this, you just want to, it doesn't have to look perfect. I was trying for perfect the first time I made them and only pulling out good peanuts. And then any excess sugar that you get on your hands, if you just give it a second to cool off and then drop it back into the pan. But this, yeah, this does get really, really hot. They wear like, and I'm also really sensitive to heat too. But they wear like thick gloves. Like look up look up Lofty Pursuits, guys. Go look that up. It's fun to watch them make candy on YouTube. They're in Tallahassee, Florida. And they make taffy and all sorts of other kinds of candy. And it's really cool. I'm just going to give that a little scoop out and dump that back into our mix to keep it warm here. If you need to, you can keep the stove on at a really low temperature, which I might turn it back on in just a second if I need to. But yeah, that's good. So the heat-wise, I will say, because like my mom will start drinking hot cocoa and stuff at around, you can blow on it too if you need to. They start doing it around, she starts drinking soup and hot cocoa and stuff around 150 to 140. I drink mine at 133 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? That's like at least 20 degrees, 10 to 20 degrees lower than what they have theirs at. So it's, yeah, it's sticky. That's to be expected because it's candy. Yeah, and then if you need to, there's that ice block over there. And I'm going to actually saturate the mix with more peanuts. And yeah, that's the process, guys. You just pull the peanuts out and work to transfer them over as individual peanuts like that. We're going to cut and come back when this is done. So my friend is gone. You can see we made a lot there. I've turned the stove back on really low. I just have it on 2 because you really don't want to burn this. Kind of mixing up and stirring more peanuts in as you go along. You want to mix the sugar. Like if you get the sugar on the sides and mix it in with the middle again, it helps it warm up and not be so cold. Yeah, not be so hard. Ice block doesn't really help. But yeah. And then here's another, making sure I can see this. It also helps too if you grab it, and then when you grab it, you keep tossing it and working with it. Don't ever let it sit there. Hot. If you keep on stirring it, then the sugar should come off your hand. And I'm trying to make them too perfect. You can go a little bit faster, which I'm going to start doing. In a minute here, my stepfather, or maybe my mom, will be along to help me. Ooh, hot. But if you go quickly, then you won't burn your self. The sad part too is that these gloves conduct the heat somewhat well.
Yep.
You can wear thicker gloves, but they don't have as much dexterity. That's for bigger batches of candy. So yeah, that's the stage that we're at. So if you want to, so this is what we've got done. Here's my hands. They're a bit wrinkly because they get sweaty under there, and I can feel a slight tingling because like they've been burnt just a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. And then if you see, there was some waste over here. So if we went, like there's that one, there's the other bowl that we were doing, and there's like, there's a decent chunk in the bottom of the pan. So yeah, you gotta really work fast with this. You gotta have other people helping. For the other batches, we're gonna try and do it a little bit faster, get them done a little bit faster. I'll maybe have more people over to help, if possible, because, you know, so I have less waste. But I do have a load more batches to do because I got enough stuff to make all of these. If I don't get it all done, there's definitely some for later. But yeah, and just to show you up close, these are the watermelon peanuts. They should look about like that when you're done. And prove to you that they are tasty. Nice flavor, nice crunch. It adds a little bit of extra crunch. The nice part is the hard candy outside is really thin, so it kind of just breaks apart. Whereas, like, you know, it's harder to like actually crunch like a Tootsie Pop or a Lollipop, but these are just slightly crunchier than the peanut all by itself. So there you go, guys. That is watermelon peanuts. I'm so sorry I didn't upload the video last time, but this one actually turned out a whole lot better and I knew what I was doing. So I'll see you guys in whatever's next. So it's another day, another batch, something I didn't expect to add to the video, but I just wanted to say something kind of sort of cool when you're making this. And first of all, if you put the peanuts in and you pull them out, and you want to let them cool a little bit in the bowl that you pour them into. And then if you quickly pull one out, pair two halves together, twist them around, and put them in the thing, you're less likely to burn your hands if you work quickly. And then also I'm going to be trying something where this time, because last time I had my friend help me, and then after he had to go, I had my mom and stepdad take over, so there were 3 of us, and we got like 90% of the batch done. The rest kind of burned too much. So this time I'm going to try by pouring half of the batch out into a bowl with maybe a tidge of oil in there. Maybe I won't do the oil, I don't know. But I'm going to put it in the oven at 170, which is the lowest our oven goes. So hopefully it will keep it somewhat soft, and then I can pour it back in the pan and then warm it up enough to work with it again if it already isn't still warm enough. So then I'll work with half a batch, and the other half won't be burning. It will just be staying at a low temperature. That shouldn't burn it. I think you should also be able to just pour a batch off to the side in an oiled bowl and let it harden completely, and then remelt it down. Although I don't specifically know if that has any implications as to the final texture, how it alters it. I don't know for sure, but I think it shouldn't. But so the cool thing is you do want to wash your hands when you do this and put gloves on. But if your gloves end up getting like a little bit dirty or something, like let's say you have to touch your phone while you're doing this, which professional place you wouldn't be able to do that, but if you have to touch your phone or it's something else that might be just a little bit dirty, then you go back to this. It's really, really, really hot sugar, so it should kill any of the germs on your gloves as you're working with them. So the main worry here is just large flecks of dirt and pieces of dust. So yeah, still follow food safety procedures when making these, but it's cool that it's so hot that it helps keep things extra sanitary. Another little section to add on to this quickly. We got a lot done. There's still quite a bit of this batch to go, sadly though. So I'm kind of going a little bit of this alone, trying really hard not to burn this. The oven trick was cool and worked great. It did get a little bit hard in the oven, but I was able to scrape it out, put it in the pan, and let it warm up. And then once in there, I need to take a break myself, so I just put it in and I'm letting it remelt down. And that seems to be going good so far. I started with my element on high, on power. This is an induction stove. And it was cool. The sugar started cracking. I should have recorded when I did that. But then I turned it down, and I've scooped up and poured hot sugar over top of the mounds of peanuts, so that then they can warm up and get spread out. So I am just going to quickly test if there is a difference here. That's good enough. And I really noticed today that you can tell when it's safe to pick up and start molding with when you touch it and it doesn't stick to your gloves. Otherwise, it's going to stick to your gloves and it's going to be hot and it's going to burn. Like, still sticking to my gloves. I need to let that cool some more. Like, see the mass right there. And my mom says it helps to have gloves that aren't on all the way. But like, yeah, this is, ooh, ow. Bit too sticky. But there we go, and see I have it picked up, and I would normally be quickly working with this and kind of making it look nice, but okay. Give that another few seconds to cool down. See if this batch is still good. It was a little bit soft because I didn't let it cool down quite all the way. But it tastes fine, and yeah, that's good. So it's still usable once you remelt it. Also, what I did, which I really hope doesn't affect the later batch, but it was getting a little bit burnt. So what I did is I put like a drop or two of the flavoring from the next batch into the half of this that was getting on the burnt side. And I worked with that, and that gave it just a little bit more life. Well, hopefully not taking away some flavor from the second batch. So, yeah. Something you can do to add life, but you do gotta realize it could jeopardize your next batch. Okay, hopefully this is the last segment in the candy making, or the watermelon peanuts making process. I am wearing my old winter gloves with some rubber gloves on the outside. You do have to be a little bit cautious because you see these are woolly and you don't want little fibers getting in your candy. But we're using a heat lamp. Candy's in the oven at 200. You didn't close the door all the way. There we go. And they're 250, sorry. No, 260. So it's keeping it relatively workable, but not very fast. But the heat lamp helps slow it down. This is something I looked online, and a few different people said they use this in candy places. So it's helping us to make faster. We're not burning as much. So this is going relatively good overall. You know, it's helping. Still a long process, but it's helping. And so hopefully we can churn out a whole bunch more peanuts. Maybe not all that I'd planned to make, but enough that I can at least give to some people for Christmas. Especially my work. They're the target audience. Then I'm gonna make sure that I give some to the people that helped out make watermelon peanuts. Woohoo! There we go. Well, I think I've outsmarted my system a little bit. Not necessarily the candy making system, but the video making system. Because, there we go. So I noticed that it's like, oh, a new development in making watermelon peanuts faster. I should do a clip on it. And so then I realized, no, wait, I should stop and make peanuts until I'm almost close to done. Then I'll do a final segment saying what I finally decided to do. I'm not actually close to done, kind of. I'm going to finish this batch. Maybe I'll try one more batch of watermelon peanuts. I mean, I have made a large chunk, not quite as much as I would like to give out, but I have made a bunch. But I'm doing a segment now because I think this is as good as it's going to get for home watermelon peanut making. So, what I'm doing now, I've got this foil pan. I've spread it with some oil, an inverted pan, metal pan. I've spread it with oil to help the candy stick less to the metal surface. But, I don't think they oil the metal countertops in real candy making places, so I don't think you need to. Go check out Lofty Pursuits. That's kind of where I get some inspiration and ideas for how to make this go a little bit better. But with this there, and then that is a 240 watt heat lamp. Picked up at the hardware store for like $7.95 or something like that. This is infrared. I chose infrared over the, they had another one for the same price, same 240 watts. That was a red colored heat lamp. And that one wasn't infrared, and supposedly infrared puts less light out. So I chose this so it wouldn't be as bright while we're working with the peanuts. And it works best to put some of the mix out and just pull little bits off. Let me see if I can one-handed a peanut here. Just like this. Put the two halves together. And as you can see, I'm just kind of rolling it around, and then pulling it off and working with it and shaping it into a peanut. Obviously faster to use two hands, but you guys get the idea. It's the same as pretty much when we were shaping peanuts before, except this keeps it warm, so we don't have to worry about this cooling down too fast. So you could go a little bit slower if you need. The rest of the candy is keeping cool in the oven at 220 degrees. No, actually 230. 220, 230 seems about good enough to keep it nice and warm so that you can scoop more out and put it onto your plate that you're working with. And do want to be a little bit careful for two things with this. One is the heat lamp here. Reading online, they said you don't want to stick a heat lamp in this type of just a cheapo socket here. And that was a chicken raising, like, barn type website where they're talking about raising chickens, but online says you can use this for making candy, and they just put it in a fixture like this from your hardware store and use it to heat up candy. So it's worked for me so far, but I would think about the caution side of it and how this is kind of plastic and not meant to completely take the full heat, not meant to take this number of watts. So I would be a little bit cautious with this. Maybe make sure you don't do too much. If you need to, let this cool down a bit, turn it off. You could probably even put a little fan blowing slight air across the top or something. But do be cautious in that regard. And the other thing too is you want to be, so I've got the gloves on with my other gloves underneath, which seems to help with the thing with keeping the heat out. But you got to be careful with holding the candy, and especially underneath this lamp, because these rubber gloves here, like, I can hold my bare hand under the lamp for 5 seconds, and it will be, like, fine. You know, 5 to 6 seconds. It'll be fine. It'll feel warm, but I won't burn myself. But with the gloves, it's not rubber. It's not latex. I forget exactly. Nitrile exam. These are nitrile exam gloves. So the nitrile likes to absorb heat really well. So, like I said, 5 to 6, maybe 7 seconds, bare hand is fine. But if I go 6 to 7 seconds with the glove is absorbing a lot more heat. So when I pull my hand away, I still feel the heat radiating off of the glove onto my hand. And it can actually hurt, and you could burn yourself that way a lot quicker than just your bare hand under. So that's something to keep in mind. Don't spend so long under the lamp with your hand in the glove. If you need to, the ice block I've found does work great with this. Ice block is a little bit trickier with sugar, because you still have the hot sugar in between you and the ice block. But with this, it actually cools it down really quickly. So if you need to have an ice block out so you can quickly grab it, it will cool your hand back down within a few seconds, and you'll be good to go. So yeah, I feel this is the fastest way to make watermelon peanuts. Of course, also have multiple people helping out too. Yeah, this is the best way to make it. It's not the fastest candy making thing ever. I'm pretty sure that Greg from Lofty Pursuits churns out way more candy he's just making like image candy, you know, like a round piece of candy with a strawberry shape in the middle. He's making stuff like that. So that is subjectively easier. And I also looked up a video for Boston baked beans, how they make those, the candy, and they're not working with hard candy per se, but they are putting them into heated drums and spinning the peanuts around and adding in sugar syrup and then just more sugar. So I think something like that would be ideal if I could. If you guys can come up with something like that and prove that it works with heated sugar, like the hard candy sugar being rolled around in there while it's hot, if it will actually separate and not just be one big clump of sugar and peanuts. I would love to know about that. But anyways, yeah, that's it for watermelon peanuts. If any new developments come along, they are going to be in an entirely separate video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing the progression of figuring out the best way to make watermelon peanuts, and you know, and even if you guys just looked at the annotation and skipped the subtitle and skipped to the relevant parts, that's cool too. These are actually a pretty good treat, I think, in my opinion. I like them. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in whatever video happens to be next. Yeah, I don't know at this point, but we'll see you guys then.